All right, so the next lost level to showcase is going to be the Seattle sewers here, it looks like. Ellie is swept into the Seattle sewer system. This level is presented in an unfinished pre-alpha state, reflecting a state when it was originally cut from the game. Okay, yeah, we'll have these things. Introduction video, the developer commentary. I like that there's like the bubbles that you can interact with to get like the thought process at those specific spots. Like, that's kind of cool. I do like that. Are you going to compile shaders this time? Like before? Introduce me, Lost Levels, Seattle Sewers.
In this second deleted level, which is an extended sequence of the sewers in Seattle, this comes on the heels of where Ellie goes into a building and she survives an attack by stalkers and gets thrown out of the window and gets swept away by the current. And then we cut this section that used to be there in the final game. Now you will get to play it. So this was a way to get a bit more interesting puzzles, interesting traversal, figure out how Ellie can navigate the sewers with the fighting current. Ultimately, with
there's
a lot
gonna be another kind of water-based level.
Sequences, the reason why we cut them more for pacing purposes. But here it is for you, and it's very kind of raw
because Last of Us 2 is very well known for its amazing pacing.
Parts of it will feel like assets are missing as far as audio animation won't be final. But it's a glimpse into what a game looks like when it's months away from finishing. Enjoy.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, we had this segment in that one building there, where I just kind of meleeed everybody. Oh, I still gotta do this. So it just kind of resumes us in this section of the game and shows how it would transition right into it. That's cool. And then there's still gonna be more quick time events here. My volume was kind of high on my headphones after playing Helldivers there. Turned down my own volume a little bit. Yeah, the mashing. Yeah, I remember doing this. I don't remember what immediately it led to in the game before. But I guess in this version it would be another section first. Oh, okay, so I guess there's gameplay here. Would there be like obstacles that I'd have to avoid or something? Nope, doesn't seem like. Whoa, that's what the health bar looks like! Whoa! Okay. Can I climb up on a thing? You climb up on a thing there. So I'd hit that grate if I just kept going anyway. So 10 on that.
Where the hell am I?
Oh, I can't even cycle stuff here. It won't let me. What? It is, but it's like not showing it. I guess because like unfinished state, but you would think that it would just have like the functional UI of what they finished imported here. But I guess maybe they wanted to show what the general gameplay was like at this point where the icon didn't update immediately. But, oh. Okay. Now it's updating properly. Okay. Interesting. So it shows 6 and 4. And even like the notches for how many bullets you have, huh? Something I'm really not used to playing on Grounded before. And the one time that I played casually on normal mode, it was on like a TV screen, not a monitor in front of me. So I wouldn't have been able to clearly see anyway.
Goal for the player, but being able to climb out is not going to be so easy. To keep levels interesting and engaging, we alternate between positive and negative values the player experiences. Here, it's a positive to have found a ladder, but then a negative to discover it's not the solution. But then another positive to identify the next short-term goal of the doorway. By alternating between these opposing values, we give players what they expect, but not how they expect it.
Okay. There's gotta be another way out.
Interesting. What do you mean the doorway? Like, just the one that's up there? Where it's like, can see that there's a way out that way? Ow. So then, this way, I guess. On the right track if this says 2 of 15.
Level, internally known as Fine Nora, was quite long in duration as we had to make Ellie traverse a far distance to the opposite side of downtown Seattle. The sewer section was originally longer than what
look, yellow paint.
The game with, approximately 10 minutes more. This was
Couldn't jump that? I totally could have.
Used water flow as part of a traversal puzzle. The player has to go upstream to use the current to get to the platform to reach the other side. We mostly cut this mechanic game wide, however it remained in essence in the section swimming to the aquarium as Ellie when you were avoiding the waves.
Was? Oh, on the ladder gap there. That ladder jump was like 2 feet. Yeah, probably could have made something like
When
that,
players
but
reach the doorway and enter into the room, they're faced with a dead end. The real reason
Yeah.
for this dead end room is that on the reversal, when exiting back out of the doorway, players are faced with the route onwards. A pipe that they'd not been able to see when they were swept past it on the way in, and something that was hidden
as
from
I was
view
walking
when
up
on
here,
the
I
side
figured that was
platforms.
probably the way. I'm
The
always just
intention
used to
here
doing
being
these
that
because
the
I
only
assume that they're
option
dead
is
ends
to go off
first.
the standard path in order to search for a way out.
There's a thing that I'm probably not going to use. I don't know if there's going to be any Zambos here. If there is, I have lots of bullets, so
Throughout the rest of the level, we also use
don't
a
have
light
to,
to indicate to the player
you know,
that they were
hoard.
heading in the right direction. At each turn, however, we block the direct route forward.
yeah, the whole using
Players
light to
would
indicate
know
the way
that they
forward
just
was
have
one
to
of the
keep
things I was
finding alternative
commentating
paths,
on in my
making
review
us
was
feel
actually
as if
really
we're
well done in the
desperately
game.
We slowly
It shows the way
introduce
forward
player
without
to
just
consider
having, like,
climbing into
yellow
smaller
paint or something.
pipes and crouching in these tight spaces. This is to slowly
Helping
build
out.
up to and encourage
Just keep
the
going
player
up and
to
up.
climb into such a small pipe that they'd have to be crawling on their stomach, which is something that the player previously may not have recognised as a playable space, let alone the desired route they need to take.
Imagine I missed that jump.
We
Yeah,
added
I'd be
a
swept
time
away and have to
space
do the whole
just to
thing there
reward the
again.
player's exploration with a pickup item, and we made sure it was something that made sense that you'd find in this area.
Wait, did I pick
Canister
something
and all
up?
the garbage that had been washed into the sewers from the surface. We love the idea of making Ellie prone through a tiny, dirty pipe in order to get out, as it was a great opportunity to use our prone
Shit,
mechanic.
Ellie.
The unique camera setup was created to support crawling in these pipes, as the standard prone camera is much higher above the player. It
Yeah,
also created
makes sense.
custom collision in order for Ellie to maneuver in these tight spaces easily. Initially, the oblong collision capsule around her character caused issues crawling around corners. We put extra effort into the custom corner collision, so the movement experience is as smooth as the main game. In
Okay.
order for the player to feel cramped, claustrophobic and desperate, we've been enforcing the traversal mechanics that allow for a tight environment which promote these feelings. We introduced the use of
go
the
up there.
squeeze through so that we can keep the player feeling enclosed and tight, but without repeating the same geometry. Here we change from low ceilings with wider walls to high ceilings and tight walls to change up the spatial pacing and keep the level from repeating itself.
Okay. Only so much I can turn the camera here. Also, when I was playing Helldivers, I was getting my controls mixed up because I'm so used to playing this on PC now. So I'd be trying to, like, dive into prone by holding C, and I would just crouch in that game when it's alt in that game. And now I worry that if I do some no return stuff tonight, that I'm gonna get my controls mixed up because I was just playing Helldivers.
Higher here, so players had to swim through this tight tunnel. However, from watching user test feedback, it was occasionally causing people to discount the route entirely and turn back on themselves. So to avoid any risk of this happening in the final game, we present a lower water level so the tunnel is easy to see and commit to using. Although this isn't as impactful without the prone swim, it's the better decision as it means a smoother experience for the player with no backtracking frustration.
Well, the prone swim thing was only used in, like, one level, if I recall. The one where the WLF soldiers are first coming after Abby on the Seraphite Island, and are like, "You're a traitor, Abby," and all that. I don't think that there was any other levels that even
As we
had the
surface
prone
from the
swim
water
mechanic.
and over the crest of the slope, we
That's one of the
reveal
things I
what's
should have
further in
mentioned in
this
my
tunnel.
review,
A
is
clicker
that
that sprouted and the fungus has grown
there's,
on the
like,
sides of the
one
pipe.
swimming level
It was
for
great to
Abby,
see
one
people
swimming
who
level
user
for
tested this
Ellie,
area becoming
and
increasingly
one,
worried as we
like,
forced
prone
the
swimming
player
level
to
for Abby.
squeeze past
So
the
it feels like you
fungus
didn't
and
really
inches
get to
away from the
explore
kicker's
this
face,
mechanic.
all the time not being sure whether the clicker might be alive or attack them. Although we aren't as cruel as to force a clicker attack in such close proximity, we do have a payoff for this moment. This clicker momentarily turned into Joel to show Ellie's PTSD from what happened to Joel at the start of the game. Ultimately, we decided to save this moment for the farm level, as it was more impactful there because it could become the centerpiece of that experience. Whereas in the sewers, we weren't able to make it as much of a narrative point and give it the breathing room and reaction time that it deserves, given the tight space.
Okay. There's a thing over here.
We draw the player towards this pipe, as it's seemingly the route out of the tight space. Fairly soon, it is obvious that this path is blocked. If the player goes all the way up to the bars that block the path, they are rewarded with a pickup, so this journey doesn't feel wasted. It is important to encourage the player to try to progress along this path so that they would subtly be thinking of progress in this direction. We hint to
Oh,
the player
Ellie's just
that there's a
constantly
bigger
swearing
new
during the
space
developer
beyond this pipe
commentary.
by showing the player the waterfall. This helps players consider the other route where they don't know how far the tunnel is or whether they'd make it.
So here's that one clicker that he was referring to. Is it cutscene, or do I have to keep holding W? Oh. J, so that my flashlight comes on. Oh. That's what they were gonna do there. J again. Oh, I have to keep holding W, okay. Interesting.
Ah, oh shit!
Something like that would have made it more evident that it was just, like, directly avenging Joel and not something else like I thought it might be at first. Can I make this jump? Oh my goodness, I can.
For the final section, we eventually opened you out into a wider area as you traverse through such tight spaces leading up to this. So changing the environmental pacing makes it begin to feel like we're coming to the end of Ellie's ordeal. An earlier iteration used the current that we'd shown at the start for a slightly tougher traversal puzzle to conclude the sewers. The ladder was clearly visible from most of the area, but the player was faced with a fast-flowing torrent of water they couldn't cross. If the player attempted to jump into the water, they were not able to swim across the ladder due to the water's speed, but instead they had to traverse the pipe running along the top of the space in order to get across the water.
This area looks familiar. Was this one in the final game then? 'Cause I'm pretty sure I've done this before. Maybe in the original game, the sewers section just sweeps you to right directly here and then out, rather than having to do that whole lead up to this. Like was the original plan. Teams. This away we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done this section before.
Using this pipe was retained in the iteration we shipped with, as it's the last of the extreme methods Ellie has to undergo in order to escape the sewers, and what she will go through in her pursuit of revenge.
Okay. Yeah, so the sewer section used to be a lot longer, it would seem. But yeah, I'm pretty sure before the current just dropped us off here.
Lengthy. And although we could have
Metal Gear
trimmed it
Solid
down
3
to a shorter
intensifies.
time, we liked how this last segment of the journey built anticipation for whether there was success at the top or not after all you've been through. Ultimately, the ladder exits out into the subway station, which is how it connects in the final game.
Yeah.
Ellie then has to find her way to the hospital from here, crossing paths with the scars for the first time.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Open up. Yeah, and then we're all connected again there. Yeah, so there wouldn't have been any enemies to shoot there or anything anyway. I gotcha. Yeah, I remember going out there. Alright, interesting. Yeah, I do like how there's the whole lost levels and developer commentary kind of stuff here. I think that's interesting.